Just to give a bit the profile, because I'm also a winemaker in the island of Crete. Currently a member of the board of the Wines of Crete Association, which I will give you some more details a little bit later. And I represent Wines of Greece, which is, let's say, the central institution for winemakers in Greece. And today I will actually try to set the frame concerning the wine tourism in Greece. Actually, before starting telling anything else, we need to get aware that Greek wine has got a big turn actually these past 20 years in a general basis, meaning that we started counting much more wineries around Greece, and also the quality level increased incredibly, which actually gave the possibilities to discuss further, not only about wine, but also about other things like wine tourism. So when we talk about wine tourism, I think that the first question is why visiting a winery and why wine tourism development can be and is important to do. And this is actually our goal as Wines of Greece, and also as the regional associations you have heard already that exist, and we discuss a little bit further later. Of course, the winemaker needs to have a direct contact with the consumer, and it's the perfect opportunity to discuss with his consumer and to get the feedback concerning also the wines he is producing, but also to create on the spot the image of its product. But also it's the possibility to have new labels to taste and to get a primary feedback on different wines that he is organizing to set on the market in the near future. Something else that is very also important is that the consumer is able to get aware of how things are done in a winery, and also to meet the people who are behind the bottle. And this is a little bit also the magic of wine, because a bottle of wine has behind the wine on itself the people that are producing, the people that are farming the grapes, and all that philosophy that has the winemaker that pass through the bottle of wine you are going to taste. Of course, it's very important as well, because wine tourism is an additional revenue for the wineries, and it's important. Well, it depends, of course, on the area we are settled, but let's say that, for example, in Crete, it's an additional revenue that is very important for the winemaker, because it helps a lot the cash flow of the company. It has been said in the beginning of this day, and it's also important because through the wine tasting areas, the wine tasting halls, as we can express them, you can find new opportunities, new contacts, new businesses can be set. And as we are talking a lot about exports lately, especially in Greece at least, export opportunities can come out through the visits in the wine tasting areas. In a more general way, I would say that the fact that the winery is open to visitors can create also a very important rural network, and this preserve actually the local economy and the social structure of these rural areas. So we are facing a little bit the problem of everybody in the city, no jobs in the rural areas, and when you are trying to increase people that are visiting these areas, then jobs are created, and there are much more young people that have the opportunity to stay in their area and not go away to the big cities. So, as I told you at the beginning, Greece has got a big turn concerning quality and wine quality in these past 20 years. In order to have cellar door opens, in order to talk about wine tourism, we need to have, first of all, awareness concerning the product, concerning Greek wines. Whatever I say in a general way, I mean in a national base, is also something that is as a main characteristic for the regional areas. So Crete, for example, we try to increase the awareness of Cretan wines and then increase the possibilities of having wine tourism in Crete. So these two things are going together. As a national organization, Wines of Crete are trying to brand Greek wines on an international basis for more than 15 years now. And this is a work actually which is done in order to show the characteristics of Greek wines, show the varieties we have all around Greece, and finally try to bring the attention of the consumers and the professionals to that new era that we are having in Greece concerning wines. And also we say that our first export actually is achieved locally, because when we are, don't forget that we receive so many visitors in Greece in general. Tourism industry is one of the most important resources in Greece. And when we sell our bottles, even in our place, to German, to French, to American people, this is a kind of starting exporting our wines, and this is something which is a key. It's a key factor actually for the development of wine industry and of wine tourism. Of course, we are empowered by the strength of Greece's tourism, as I told you before, but also with gastronomic uniqueness of our region. Each region in Greece has its characteristics concerning gastronomy. You've seen, for example, the example of Santorini, but every region in Greece has its own products and its specialities, and this helps a lot to get forward with wines, with wine pairing, and to increase the importance of the characteristics of our wines. When you have all these factors, actually, you need to take the advantage that people want to learn more about the wines you produce, more about the details of these products. And this is what we are trying to do through visiting the wineries. And at the same time, of course, we need to develop the facilities, which has been something that has been done actually these past 10, 15 years all around Greece. So visitors are now ready wineries are now ready to receive visitors. It's not that you need to have a super high-end winery to receive visitors. It can be done in a very basic, let's say, situation in a winery, but you need to have the main characteristics to receive people. You have to have correct glasses, to be able to serve your wines in appropriate temperatures, to have the possibility, of course, to sell your wine by bottle, etc. It can sound that it's very basic, but you need to start from that in order to go further. So what we reached today is actually the creation of the National Wine Tourist Committee. And this actually has been done because before that, we got regional associations that have been created these past 20 years. You've seen the presentation of Maria Alebaki. You got Northern Greece, you got Peloponnese, you got Crete. So all these regions have been organized in order to set their product, but also I would say two products, the wine on itself and the wine touristic product as a second one. And all this started because actually the wineries started being interested in work in associations. So you see that this is actually a bottom-up procedure. And one of the main keys of a success for me is the fact that it's a bottom-up procedure, meaning that when the wineries had understood that they need to proceed in a group way, to have a teamwork, they create associations, and the associations, the regional associations, will create also the national committee. We are working today on a national basis in order in order that all the regional associations are able to reach the same quality level and to do as much as they can. So we are trying actually to pull all the associations up and to put on the same table all the experiences we have as regional associations. In order to increase wine tourism, you need to work and to network at multiple levels, meaning that you need to make understand that wine tourism, it's not only something that has to do with wineries. It has to do also with local and regional authorities. It has to do with relevant ministries. It has to do with tour operators, with media, and with development agencies that are actually managing funds from the European Union. And these funds are funds that are very useful to develop the strategy. So it's much more complex that we could imagine at the beginning. And you see that there are many stakeholders, many actors that has to be involved in order to achieve the final goal. Now, Crete started 15 years ago in an association trying to promote the wines, and we tried to promote also wine tourism, because let's say that we want to create a wine destination, meaning Crete as a wine destination. So the new era started in 2006. We started from explaining what Crete is concerning wines. What are the areas? What are the varieties we use? What is the soil, etc. So try to make understand what are the main and the basic characteristics of our wines. In 2006, we started, we were 16 wineries. Today, the Association of Wines of Crete counts 33 members, 33 wineries. Most of them are family businesses, small or bigger, but 33 family businesses mainly. And also, we believe that by the end of the year, we will be 36. So this is something that increases because everybody sees the result of what is done as a teamwork, and everybody wants to be part of that trend, of that tool. I would say that this is a tool, actually. What we try to make clear is that, first of all, we are characterized by our indigenous varieties. We have at least 11 indigenous varieties, and this is something that makes us a very I would say very important ID. Part of the ID is our varieties. We try to understand that also you are able to visit our wineries. Out of these 33 wineries, today you can visit at least 30. History also is something that is very important in Crete. Don't forget that we are producing wine for 4,000 years now. You can even visit today a wine plant from the Minoan era. And history is not everything, but is also something, is an important fact when we are talking about Cretan wines. We've tried also to play a very important role on social medias and on the internet in order to be able to have tools to increase our awareness, to increase the knowledge about our characteristics, etc. And we set also wine routes in order to help visitors when they come to Crete to spend a day or more in visiting the areas. We also started organizing our own wine fairs in order to show our wines. And I can tell you that for 2022, if everything goes well with COVID, we intend to put in the wine fair also a hall which will be let's say will be given to wine tourism agencies, which is something that started also existing in Greece and in Crete as well. And there is a wine tourist agency in Crete that started using VR technology 2 years ago. Otherwise, I don't have another example of VR in Greece. At least I don't know if there is one. But in Crete, there is a wine tourist agency that uses that technology in order to promote its its job and the tours the agency proposes. So wine fairs, which will start also promote the wine tourism industry. We are part of Open Doors projects, which take part at least twice a year in Greece. We are organizing master classes, but also we've put road signs all around Crete. The same sign which will be found in the east or in the west of the island. And let's say that this is one of the goals of the National Committee as well, because we would like to have the same wine road signs all around Greece. So somebody who visits, let's say, for example, Santorini and then Crete, or goes to the north of Greece, will find the same signalization and will be aware, he will be aware of that, the fact that this is a wine sign. I will not take much more of your time, so I will do it fast. You can also find all the maps and the wine maps on the wine portal www.winesofcrete.gr, and a great number of videos which explain, let's say, the characteristics of Cretan wines. So that means that when you have a proper ID and when you are creating the tools you need, you can increase the awareness, and then you can work also by having the facilities you need. You can work on developing the wine tourism, your wine tourism project. So on a national base today, we are trying to set a common brand strategy. So a brand that will be for Greece. We take the experience of Crete, the experience of Peloponnesos, the experience of North Greece. We put all in the same table, discussing and try to create a common brand strategy. Then we will create tools that will help to promote wine tourism in Greece in general. So we have a marketing plan, we have the tools, and in the same time, very important, it has been said also this morning, educational program. We need to educate all the members of that chain, because if you want to receive visitors in your winery, you need to have educated people that know how to manage visitors. Because when you are a winemaker, you know how to make wine, but wine tourism is a touristic thing, meaning that this is another field, and a winemaker, it's not a hotelier, it's not a restaurateur, it's a winemaker. So you need to be educated on how you manage your visitors in your place. And the most important thing, in order to be able to reach your final goal and to be able to develop as much as you can, you need to get the involvement of all the stakeholders. If, for example, the mayor of the area we are set here in Pesa, where we count 10 winemakers, is not aware of what wine tourism means, and you know, it's something that started, I told you, 15 or 20 years ago. So it's something relatively new. So we need to pass the information. We need to share our vision. We need to explain why wine tourism is important. And I'm very happy that today we are talking about wine tourism in Greece, because that wasn't the fact 50 years ago. So when you get everybody involved in that project, then things are a little bit more easier. And of course, your goal is finally to offer a professional, a multi-level and a multi-regional quality experience, so that somebody who comes from Germany can take, let's say, the idea of visiting Greece because of Greek wines, because of the fact that there are plenty of beautiful areas to visit where wine is produced, and have holidays that will be matched with sea, sun, and wine as well, because there are plenty of things to discover. I try to make it short. I'm sure that there are plenty of things more to say. I'm open to any questions. And this is my contact, my email, if you need any further details. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Miliarakis, for this nice talk about wines of Greece and wines of Crete. Let's see if there are any questions. We have a question from the room. Yeah, Thomas.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your presentation. My question is, how difficult is, in your opinion, to make a homogeneous approach in the whole country of Greece? Would you say the producers are invested in it, or do you have points that they are not on board with?
Well, it's true that every region and every sub-region has its own characteristics, and everything is not the same everywhere you can go. But let's say that there are some main guidelines that can be implemented, and there is it's important to create let's say a way to help wineries that want to be part of that let's say of that project. It is true that it cannot be homogenized, but there are some things that can be, or at least we think that it is worth it to try to get them homogenized. You will always have small and big wineries. You will always have easy access wineries with easy access, and wineries that are more difficult to visit. The wineries and the wines that are produced are different from winemaker to winemaker, but at the same time, in the end of the day, you need to give tools to visitors to be able to run around the areas and visit that point of interest. So there are things that you can do in common on a national basis.
Thank you for the answer. Are there any more questions? Any more questions in the room or in the chat room? Okay, there are no questions in the chat room. Okay, thank you very much.
I just point out something that has been said before with the intelligence and the thing that it is difficult to gather information. Just to tell you that on a regional base in Crete, they have started to create a kind of observatory, of touristic observatory. Within it, you have also a sector which is for wine tourism. But in order to be able to gather all this information, and this is the difficult thing, is that you need the winemakers to be part of that and play the game. I mean, you need to get the information for the winemakers, and this is not something very easy to achieve. At least there is a trial to be able to have that intelligence, because if you don't have that intelligence, you cannot have a strategy, and you cannot turn your strategy to the way the period is asking.
Yeah, for sure. We need the wineries to gather this data. We need the researchers that will analyze the data, and we need a central organization who will coordinate all this. And of course, we need the money for that, but it's a collaboration, yeah, in order to come to this point to say, okay, we have a picture of wine tourism in Greece in numbers. Yeah.
It is just that I believe a lot on the regional development and on the regional management. I mean that not on a national basis first, but on the regional base. Let's say Crete or Peloponnesos or North Greece. And when you implement the system, these systems on a regional base, then it's much more easier to have the national result at the end.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, also very interesting the point you made, and also other speakers today, about the educational. We need more education in this specific field of wine tourism. I don't know if in Greece, if you are aware of any study programs on wine tourism? I don't think
First of all, the fact that wine tourism now is part of the educational program of some universities, this is something very basic, very important.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we feel as winemakers, as winemakers association, as a national committee on wine tourism, that we need to be able to give that information, that education to those that are interested in getting it. So we are trying actually to set programs, educational programs, to go towards that goal.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Miliarakis.